What is the role of management? Management, in fact, has to accomplish a lot of tasks. First of all, it has to run the business. That translates into doing a series of things like setting the strategy. This comes with the management of resources, establishment of the business policies, empowerment of the people in the organization. Added to this, management has to address the risks and opportunities that the business might face. All this, in addition, means that management has to lead, and leading means taking decisions. Levels of the organization. Different levels of the organization have different responsibilities and authorities. In this chart, you can see that upper management is highly oriented to taking strategic decisions. On the opposite, the lower levels of the organization are mostly operational. So what does this mean? It means that top management will take those decisions that will lead the whole company. Function and middle managers will take decisions that will affect portions of the company and will have a more tactical and operational role. Frontline employees will have a small impact in the tactical decisions, but mostly are executing. Based on this, a good definition for a manager is the person that can take strategic decisions. So, what does a manager need to take strategic decisions? A manager needs to have three elements. One, the responsibility over the function or area. Two, the authority to change that function or area. And three, the ability to allocate resources. If a manager can't allocate resources, then it is not managing, it is coordinating. Management takes those strategic decisions to achieve the objective of a company. But there are different ways to achieve the goal. These ways can essentially be described in three management styles: management by directives, management by objectives, and management by process. Management styles. Management by directives. In management by directives, the management basically says, here is my objective, do it my way, and I'll reward you if you do it. And people more or less follow orders. This mode of management prevails in many small businesses, particularly those in which the leader lacks formal management training, or in remote areas of a large company where feuds or silos are formed. On the positive side, this style is very intuitive and is a fast way to steer a business direction. However, on the negative side, it is highly reactive and has a completely dependency on a single person. It creates these feuds or silos and restricts the improvement ideas that the employees might have. This style is a weak driver for business innovation. Management styles. Management by objectives. Also known as results-oriented management, is a mode hands-off approach in which management essentially says, here is your objective, do it your way, and I'll reward you for achieving the goal. This prevents micromanagement and engages workers in devising ways of reaching goals. But all those individual ways exponentially increase the potential for variation in results while making it harder to understand what is working and what isn't. On the positive side, this style encourages employees to develop expertise, creating ownership and accountability for their tasks. It is based on individual and departmental goals that are measurable. On the negative side, it comes with a dependency on singular experts that concentrate key know-how. When this talent leaves or changes position, it is difficult to replace and creates a weakness. Even that this style promotes the generation of innovative ideas, it fails in incorporating them into the ways the rest of the company operates, becoming a restriction and resulting in low levels of business improvement. Management styles. Management by process. Management by process essentially says, here are the company objectives. We are part of a business process. Learn the best known way and we will achieve the objectives. Management by process drives employees' empowerment and encourages understanding of the business. It is based on customer focus and process-based thinking. It makes result repeatable with low dependency on individuals. On the positive side, this style empowers process ownership, centering the improvement of the company as a management risk. It focuses on company objectives and not in departmental or area objectives. It is a natural driver for standardization. On the negative side, it requires a higher understanding of the business both from employees and managers and relies on a decentralization of the decision making. It also depends highly on the willingness of the company to share and collectively learn among regions and functions. But this style is because naturally a driver for business improvement. Why should we adopt management by process? Given that each of the management styles has pros and cons, only management by process can achieve the level of improvement that the automotive and other similar industries demand. We face a fast-growing, rapid-changing market that is resulting in higher complexities of our operations and increasing expectations from customers and other interested parties. We are a large company, 100+ locations, with locations in 3 continents, and only in this way can we reach the level of consistency that the market demands. Where does management by process come from? It was originally developed by ISO, International Organization for Standardization, as a way to reduce the variation that comes with globalization of industries. The international industries put these concepts together to ensure that locations in the same company operate the same way even if they are on different sides of the world. The result of their work is reflected in the ISO 9000 and ISO 14000 standards. The automotive industry, being a leading globalized industry, adopted this approach and further refined it. This was done by the IATF, International Automotive Task Force, reflected in the ISO TS 16949 and now the IATF 16949 standards. Similar industries like the aerospace have also adopted this approach, creating equivalent standards. Federal-Mogul Powertrain is committed to following this approach, not just because it is in the international and industry standards, but because it is a smart, coherent, and efficient way to run the business. It is expected that all powertrain locations implement and follow this approach. And that means that all top, functional, and middle managers need to understand, commit, and apply management by process. How does management by process work? First, the basics. The business model of a company like ours is to capture customer needs and expectations and transform them into products and services, give them back to the customer in exchange for a payment. The objective is to keep doing this as fast as possible, consistently, and at the lowest cost to capture as much payment as possible. Inputs into outputs. If we look closer to the company, we will see that this cycle is actually quite simple. On the left, we have inputs, which are the needs and expectations from the customer. Up there, we are getting resources, initially in the form of money. We have a transformation, so it means that the company will do some things to transform these inputs into products and services, which are the outputs on the right. This is called the process approach basic concept. We receive inputs, use resources to transform them into outputs. Let's have a closer look to what is happening inside this transformation. In other words, what the company does to create products and services based on customer needs and expectations. First, we have some functions in place called customer-oriented functions or operational processes. These are the essential ones that transform the needs and expectations into products and services. You are familiar with these. We have a sales process, a design process, a manufacturing process, and finally a distribution process. Then we have the support functions, which are those activities that capture and transform the received payment from the customer into resources that will become available for the operation to run. Finances takes the money, allocates it to people management, infrastructure management, work environment management, and knowledge management, so that these can provide competent people in a work environment with the infrastructure they need to operate. This is called the value-added path because in theory, it is the minimum needed to add value from a customer perspective. Unfortunately, having all of these functions in place is difficult since they behave like moving parts of an interconnected machine that needs to be controlled and maintained. Remember, there are people working behind this, and there are several locations interacting in this. So we need to control them and maintain them so that they keep working and stay in place. That is why there are management functions which keep all these parts in place and working together. Management functions monitor, evaluate, and adjust the operation and the support functions by doing business planning, risk and opportunities management, performance evaluation, correction, and prevention. And finally, the leadership functions, which are the ones that steer the whole thing when needed. Remember when we had management taking strategic decisions? This is what strategic decisions are for. Think about these as strategic activities like setting leadership and commitment, assigning organizational roles, establishing or changing the business policies. Here is when management roles come into play. Top management, that are the CEOs, the vice presidents, are the captain of the ship, which is process approach thinking as the system owners. But they have a second level in command, which are the function managers, or close to location managers, known as the function owners, and they steer smaller parts of the company. The function owner controls and leads a function, so the head of a location is probably a function owner. In reality, inside the function, there are a lot of things happening. These are known as the business processes. It follows the same structure. There are inputs, resources, transformations, and outputs. In this example, from the manufacturing world, you can see that the procurement is delivering something to serial production that transforms it and delivers it to shipping that sends it to the next line. Also, there is a support function, like people management, that is receiving inputs from finance management, most likely money, and transforming it in competent people for the operational processes. Down there, you also see some management processes. Same principle. This level has owners. In this level are called business process owners. Most of the times, the business process owners are the middle managers for operation and support processes, and the location manager is the business process owner for the management processes. This is because they have control over the budget of the specific business process. Very important. A frontline employee cannot be a business process owner since they don't have the three elements needed: the responsibility and the authority over the whole process and the ability to allocate resources. What is expected from a business process owner? Number 1, be aware of which business process you own. If you are a middle manager, a location manager, or function manager, it is highly likely that you are a business process owner. 2, understand the suppliers, inputs, outputs, and customers of the business processes. In other words, understand who is giving the process what is needed to conduct the activities in this process, and more important, who is receiving the result of the process. If you have any doubts about it, there is probably documentation about it. You can ask for a turtle diagram, a process map, to further understand the process. Number 3, control the business process activities and the defined methods. In other words, make sure that every step defined for the process is happening. A good source for understanding these methods are the procedures and documentation available in your location. 4, manage the resources available for the business process. In practical terms, make sure that the people needed to conduct these tasks are available, that they have the knowledge that makes them competent, the training, the skills, and the on-the-job experience. Secure the work conditions for them. It means making sure that physical factors, physiological factors, and social factors are in place. Provide the needed infrastructure. It can be hardware, software, devices, areas, buildings. And finally, give them the resources to measure and monitor how this is happening. Number 5, evaluate the performance of the business process. You have to measure, monitor, and analyze and evaluate how these activities are happening to make sure everything is running smoothly. A second thing to do is to secure that audits are happening. It doesn't mean that you have to conduct the audits, but it means that you need to make sure that they are happening, targeting the problems, and that you are capturing their results. All this with the goal of reviewing the process status. This can be done during an operational review, a management review, or staff meetings. 6, improve the business process. The results of reviewing the process can lead to either correcting the process, preventing a problem in the process, or continually improving the process. 7. Plan the business process. After improving, that means correcting, preventing, or continually improving. It is your task to identify risks and opportunities for the process and address them. The way to address them is planning new objectives and changes for the process. Number 8. Lead the business process. This is the ultimate goal of a business process owner. That means you represent the leadership and commitment in this process. You know and apply the business policies in this process. And you assign operational responsibilities and authorities to the people participating in your process. Number 9. Follow the management principles. Fundamental thing for managers is to base all their decisions in this set of principles. These are international principles that apply to each and every business process owner, not just in our company, but in any company following this approach. Customer focus, leadership, engagement of people, process approach, improvement, evidence-based decision-making, and relationship management. Available resources. In every Federal-Mogul powertrain location, there are several resources available to you to further understand the process approach and your role as business process owner. The most immediate one is to contact your location quality systems administrator. That person already has information about the processes and the designated process owners. A second resource is to reach out to your business unit or product group quality function. Also, you are more than welcome to contact Powertrain Corporate Quality and Customer Satisfaction Department for guidance. Finally, you can access the Keystone Project website by typing keystone.federalmogul.com in your browser and use all the reference material available.